Today, I've got an interview that I have been long awaiting to share with you. Really excited that today is the day. So we have got a guy that you may know as the go-to for everything Jordan shoes, but you may not know him for is in the last year, he rekindled his childhood passion for collecting cards like the rest of us from the 90s and just started a little bit over a year ago getting back into it, and he's got some great stories to share. There are some synergies between the two communities, but this is a guy that I've been looking forward to chatting with and sharing this conversation with you for quite some time. So before we get into that, welcome to the most passionate content for card collectors on YouTube and possibly the whole entire internet. As usual, I am your host, Jake Roy, 90s BBall Cards here on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, a little bit of TikTok here and there. This last week with the holidays was a little bit too busy to get into that, but like I said, we've got a great interview today, so let's not waste any more time and get right into that. Marvin, thank you so much for joining me today. This has been a very exciting opportunity to chat with you about not only cards, but shoes and all kinds of fun that we like to get into. So thank you. It's an honor to have you on. How you doing today?
Appreciate it, Jake. Thank you for having me. I've been following you for a little bit here, and I started getting back into cards, during the Last Dance last year into May. I think it was like April or May 2020.
Yep.
Just ended up finding a passion for it again after, pretty much leaving the game after like 15 years. So I had a long hiatus, but now I'm back dabbling into cards. A lot of people follow me for the shoes. That's the primary thing that I've done. But cards have always been my number one passion when I started back in 1991. So hopefully people are excited, to see the content and dabble into card shoes and even maybe some jerseys too. So
for sure, yeah. And I mean, before I even started my channel, I was watching your shoe content because I dabble with sneakers, and growing up, I was a big Penny fan, so I still want to get a bunch more Penny shoes. My brother was a big Jordan head, so the Concords were like my number one shoe, so I was able to get those when they re-released. So watching a lot of your videos and living vicariously through some of the grails that you have in your collection was great. And then when I saw you posting stuff about cards, I was like, this is my guy. I'm in on this. So it was very exciting. It's always exciting when you see somebody that hits a couple of things that you're really interested in. So that was really exciting to see.
awesome, man. Yeah, we'll definitely get into a lot of that stuff here. So stay tuned.
Yeah, exactly. And so one of the things that I was thinking through, when we were talking about chatting, is some of my favorite shoe lines, signature series. Of course, Jordan shoes and Penny shoes are kind of the tops. But Kobe is big, Iverson, and I think if we're talking about the top 5 of signature shoe lines, we've got to throw LeBron in there too. So that would be kind of like my top 5 for shoe lines. What would be yours if you had to pick player lines?
Man, okay, so Jordan obviously is number one. I mean, my sneaker room here, or vault, or whatever you want to call it, is dominated by his airness. The second one, definitely, Kobe has definitely propelled a lot of interest in the sneaker market, especially after he passed away tragically last year. His stuff has just skyrocketed, cards, shoes, whatnot. And it's unfortunate that, there is a high demand for it, even though he no longer has a contract under Nike. I think the 5-year extension ended sometime in April of this year. So hopefully Nike and, Vanessa Bryant are able to come together and, extend Kobe's legacy with the brand. But we'll see. So Jordan's, Kobe's, Penny's up there too. I love that line. I know there's a few retros that are coming out down the pipeline. I know you're excited for that.
Oh yeah,
the penny ones. People are familiar with that. I think that one's my favorite one of his line. So that would be three. Four, a lot of people don't talk about are the the Barclays,
Mm-hmm.
the 180s, Olympic 180s. Like those, that was one of my favorite Barkley shoes. Back in the 90s and stuff like that. And then the fifth one, I mean, LeBron, yes, definitely has a case. Uh, I stay strictly 90s here because obviously you're a 90s
Right.
channel, but yeah, I mean, we can also, honorable mentions also Kyrie's, KD's, all the likes. Those guys
Yeah.
are, have had a, a long, tenure with the brand as well. So you can see, like, I've stuck with the Nike brand, obviously because of Jordan and stuff like that. So, that it's a legacy brand for me. That's what I like, and that's what I stick with. So those are my five.
I like it. I mean, you can't go wrong with any '90s guys. I mean, there's so many. The Kemps, the Shaq Reeboks. You got Gary Payton. I mean, there's so many guys you could go down.
So
I mean,
many.
even the Kembys, those Adidas shoes that the Kembe had in the early '90s. I think those are due for a comeback, in my opinion. But we'll see what
Yeah,
Adidas
they
does.
actually retroed some years ago his the
Oh yeah, that's
Kimbe
right.
shoes.
I
Yeah,
do. I do vaguely remember seeing that, and I think they had some clothing that came out, like some shirts and T-shirts and shorts and stuff.
yeah,
I
yeah,
need to
yeah.
dig that up.
So I don't know if it was a hit for a little bit, but then I mean his market's so small, like
Yeah,
his fan base. So I don't think it really went the distance there. But
yeah,
you never know as far as like retros and shoes are concerned. Like people always have a love for sneakers, so it'll come back eventually, I'm sure.
right. Yeah, like the Ewing shoes even had a little resurgence there for a little while.
Yeah, and I know like a guy or two that they continue on with the Ewing brand, and he's cool. Good friends with Jordan as well. I'm
Hmm.
surprised like he hasn't kind of done like a I don't know some type of connection there or a collab or whatnot. But
That'd be cool
um, yeah,
for sure. So along those same lines, if you had to pick like maybe your top three or top five guys for cards, who would be in your top for your faves?
Kobe, Jordan, Shaq. I do Penny,
Okay.
and man, the fifth one I think is just a toss up. I didn't really collect LeBron just because like I kind of left
Hmm.
the card scene like a year after he was drafted. So I mean, I'm starting to collect a little bit more LeBron only because like he's kind of like on the downside of his career. I mean, I would say he has what 2 or 3 years left in the league, and then he's gonna hang them up. But yeah, I guess those would be my five.
Yeah, I mean that's an incredible five. I mean Penny is definitely probably the biggest star that you have there. So
Yeah. Well, speaking of Penny too, like I was actually kind of hoping he would take that head coaching job at Orlando, but he stuck it out with the Memphis Tigers. So hopefully, they are in the running to win their national championship over
yeah,
there. So
I was actually really relieved that he stayed with the the Tigers because I mean I'm because of Penny I'm a Magic fan, but that coaching job is a bum job right now. Like, and I would hate to see him have like the Calipari when he was with the Nets treatment of just having
mhm.
like a bad team. I think that they need to build up the talent base before that's I would like to see him walk in and be able to succeed rather than have two tumultuous years and then if that tarnishes his legacy. But it would be fun at some point to see him reunite with the Magic. Absolutely, would be
Yeah,
a dream.
yeah, and if it's not a head coaching job, at least in some capacity, just to boost that brand. But I guess you would need a star
Yeah.
type player in order for him to, I guess, accept it. I don't know. I just feel like as a I guess like as a player that he was, like you kind of want somebody else that's kind of like gonna, I guess, move you along. But he I think he's doing a great job as far as like college coaching and stuff like that. So I feel like college coaches have better longevity when it
Hmm.
comes to coaching as opposed to like the NBA. So I don't know. We'll
Yeah. I
see.
mean, look at Coach K. He just announced it. This is going to be his last season, and he's been
Yeah.
there. I mean, I don't remember his first year with Duke, but I mean, as long as I can remember, he's been coaching at Duke. So it's hard to
Hmm.
do that in the NBA. Very few.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, in just thinking about the Magic, I mean, I, as a Magic fan, I have like a love-hate relationship because I have disagreed with so many of their personnel decisions that it just drives me crazy. And then, I've been saying for years, trade away Aaron Gordon, get something for him, and now he's at an all-time low for value, and then they trade him away, for pennies on the dollar. I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah,
Aaron Gordon has got shafted over the years, even when it comes to the dunk contest. So, yeah, and he's pretty much regulated to what, a bench role, it seems like in Denver. So
mm-hmm.
I don't know what that does with his I guess his I don't know, his brand or his are his cards going down? I don't know. But
I don't know
I
many
mean,
people that collect his cards. I mean, sure there's some, but I don't know many at all.
hmm, yeah, I mean, as far as the new stuff's concerned, I am still trying to learn after being away so long. So, I mean, when I came back last year, I was just like, man, what happened to Upper Deck? What happened to Fleer? The cool cards that like we got in the late '90s. Like, I don't understand where all the cool designs went. Like every Panini card to me looks the same. I'm just like, what's going on? So, I mean, but I did hear some news about those designers, the arenas,
Yeah.
actually, I guess having a comeback type thing coming up.
Yeah,
I
I was
don't
just
know.
going to ask. I mean, so there are the rumors that they're going to be back in the card game in some capacity. I mean, I don't know many details, and I don't know, other than them and whatever company they might be working with. But I know everybody's very excited to see what might happen because, yeah, I mean, those designs from Fleer and Skybox that they put together were some of the best. I mean, obviously, everybody in the 90s, Tops and Upper Deck, are definitely included. I feel as though those designs really pushed all the competition to come up with, the next best creative design. And, we just got so many just so much eye candy from the 90s that just
Yeah,
can't be beat.
yeah, and hopefully, when that Panini contract is up, I don't know when it is, but that there is more competition, like you were saying, to come back for the NBA and cards because I think it's needed, even in sneakers, like it's needed. Like Nike and Jordan are pretty much dominating. I think they did like shoot, uh, they did really well this past quarter with sales and stuff like that. So. Uh, Yeah, I feel like, when you have competition, it pushes the other side that's doing so well to do better. And as far as like designs and whatnot. And there's some gripes when it comes to like, lazy design on the sneakers and the card side. But hopefully, I mean, there's talented designers out there that want to be able to create, but I just feel like sometimes maybe like upper management will kind of like push it down to kind of like pinch pennies
Mm-hmm.
to save money and just put it out there and not really care about it where you really want to have passion when it comes to doing work as far as like design and all else. So I feel like with sneakers and cars there's really like an intermingling of sorts, like coming from the card space to the sneaker space back to the card space. Like I feel like there is an intermingling when it comes to like all that stuff. But usually like well with cards it's like it's less stressful when it comes to like releases and stuff like that. I feel because with sneakers it's like you're really having a competition trying to get a sneaker every so weekend or every Saturday. It seems like when stuff comes out. With cards, like you can pretty much just go back and pick up whatever favorites that you want, even if it's just like some cheap stuff, cheap '90s
Mm-hmm.
stuff, or even going back to like me, I said I was done like the past what 15 years, and going back and trying to see like what actually released. It's kind of reinvigorating. Like I love it. It's just having to see what I missed and just like, oh yeah, these were the chase cards like during this time and whatnot, and and I don't know. I feel like there's content all around that you can pretty much just do and just explore, and people will just be into it.
Yeah.
So
Well, and I always think like the arenas are always talked about for design for cards, and I feel like Tinker and Avar are always talked about for design for shoes.
mhm.
But I feel like the difference, at least in my perspective, is sneaker collectors, sneaker heads, if you create a retro in a new colorway, it may be a flop, it may be a hit, but people aren't going to be upset and just like, oh, another colorway of the 11s. Like seriously, like people don't get. But
Yeah.
if you go and you take Prism and you create that 35th colorway of a parallel, people in the card world are like, come on, seriously. I feel like that's the one thing. I think that there's so many synergies in cards and shoes, but I feel like that's the one that really is the difference, is what people want. I feel like you can't get enough of retro, or at least I know I can't get enough of retros from the shoe side,
Yeah.
but cards not so much.
Well, I mean, as far as retro is concerned in sneakers, I've definitely had to pick and choose because I can't be spending what retros are like 190, 200
Right.
bucks every weekend. And, I got a budget. Like, I want to be able to have some play money when it comes to my hobbies and stuff like that. So, people will do it for the resale. Some people are collectors, and, we can even get into that. Like, there's a big difference between collectors, investors,
Hmm.
flippers, all that. People will dabble in all of it, but like for me, the root of it all is I grew up with this stuff. I love it, and I'm a collector of it, so I'm gonna keep collecting what I want. So, um, but yeah, there's definitely you know a lot of similarities when it comes to sneakers and cards.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so that was one of the questions I wanted to ask, is like, um, with your sneakers and your cards, do you kind of flip some to keep cash flow coming in to get new stuff? Are you just like, once you get it, it's never leaving or are you like a mix? How do you treat your collecting on both sides?
Yeah. So as far as that's yeah. Okay. So as far as the sneaker stuff is concerned, if there is a release. And this may be unpopular opinion when it comes to people in the sneaker community, is that if I have an opportunity to get multiple of one popular colorway and it does well on the resale market, you know, more so more so I'm gonna flip it to try and recoup the money that I spent for my first pair,
Hmm.
or use that money to buy a card that I've always wanted. You know what I mean? So I feel like yeah, there are resellers out there that take hordes of sneakers and resell every single pair. Uh, but I feel like you need resellers in the game in order to, as a collector myself, be able to obtain it.
Hmm.
Especially like, some sneakers may not be available in my area, but it's available in like a metro what is that called? Major metropolitan area, say like New
Hmm.
York or Los Angeles, Chicago, that they may have it, and I may have to try and get it off a resale market. So, you know, I, I'll dabble in it to just try and get the pairs that I want or something that I want from cards. When it comes to the cards, like I guess it's based off popularity, scarcity. Same thing with sneakers. Like if a shoe is limited, it's going to drive the price up. If
Oh yeah.
something like a jersey card or whatnot that's been popular and you can only find them like from polls or like auction houses, that's been a real popular thing nowadays. You have to spend the money. So either way, like you're having to spend the money to be able to obtain something that you want, and that's just part of the hobby. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, in both parts, it's always it's like I always call myself a reluctant seller when it comes to cards. I would rather accumulate more and more. And sometimes when you have to part with them, it's like, yeah, it's a necessary evil to keep kind of going along the same trajectory and achieving those new goals and stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
but don't get me wrong. I mean, it is pretty tough to let go of some pieces that, like a major pull, like your odds of pulling a pack, like, and I'll probably spill the beans here, but I bought a bunch of these 98, 99 Upper Deck MJ Access basketball cards. They weren't cheap, but I plan to maybe open some to hopefully pull, some of the jersey cards that are like what the odds are like 1 in 2,500
yep.
packs. Like those odds are just like playing the lotto, you know what I mean? And that's how it is with sneakers too. Like sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and more times, more often, you lose. But I mean, there's fun in playing it, and I guess that's
Oh
the
yeah,
gamble when it comes to it. So
yeah. I know. Like, it's a lot of fun. Not being too serious with shoes for me. Going into those lottos to try to get the 11s, around Christmas time if it's a colorway that I want. But at the same time, I know that if the same thing happened with cards, that would drive me nuts. So
yeah,
I know, like,
yeah,
people that get really upset when they go on the sneakers app and they're like, "Again, I lost again." Um,
yeah.
I know how frustrating that could be, and it would be for me. But, like, my wife and I were lucky to get the Bread 11s, and this year we're gonna try for the cool grays and stuff. And if we don't get them, it'll be like, okay, I'll be all right without them.
I
But
think you
it's
should.
like,
I think you'll be all right with the Cool Gray 11s. I mean, Nike and Jordan Brand, they make tons of the Jordan 11s every December, and
yeah,
it seems like the quantity and the price, will always go up on those. When I say price, I mean retail price. So, you know, the trajectory for price, they used to be like 150 or
hmm
125 when they first came out, but when they started attaching the Jordan 11s in December, it's always been like 175, 185, 200. Now we're what, at 225 or
yeah,
whatnot.
I think so.
I feel like they're just gonna continue going up. But I mean, that's capitalism, I guess, for you. And like,
If the
what
demand's
are you
there,
gonna do?
right? Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I don't see any loss in sight for the Jordan 11s really leaving. Um, December releases. So, the Jordan 11 is a very popular shoe. It's
hmm
also one of the most protected as far as like retros are concerned. Like, you
mm
don't see a lot of Jordan 11s being retroed. You see a lot of the Jordan 1s. You see a lot
hmm
of the Jordan 3s, the 4s. The 4s are, they're really overdone. And I feel like, well, the Jordan 1s and the 4s are really overdone when it comes to like collabing on those, trying to get different colorways or trying to get different brands in it, to make them. But yeah, it's just it's crazy the amount of shoes out there. Like, I have probably what, 400 or 500 pairs of shoes, and 90%, maybe 95% of it is dead stock. Where people, if you don't know what dead stock means, it's brand new. Like, you don't wear it. It's part of a collection, and all of the stuff that I have behind me and down below and whatnot, it's all derived from from cards. Like,
mm
when it comes to sneakers and cards, like, they're one and the same to me. It's like, you want to be able to keep the edges like all nice. With sneakers, you don't want to like crease them up.
hmm
uh like, over the years, I've accumulated so many that, like, I ended up having some 90s shoes, right, that have disintegrated over time. Cards
hmm
won't do that, but sneakers will disintegrate over time, and you try to keep them as pristine as you can. So, I mean, you can't sleeve sneakers. You can't grade sneakers yet. So I don't know. It's just one of those things where people thought I was weird for having dead stock shoes, and like, well, why don't you wear your shoes? They're meant for wearing. And I'm like, yeah, but like, if I have two, I will. I promise. But yeah, it's just one of those things where, like, with cards, kind of transitioned over to sneakers, and was like, okay, well, I want to build a collection, and it's one of those things where I want to make it keep it neat, keep it clean. When I put them into pictures, like, people are always, hitting the heart and liking them on Instagram. So, and I just decided to, also transition that into making YouTube videos at a point, to be able to, share what the sneakers used to look like, or how
hmm
they used to be built versus how they are, how they're built now, and even doing a side by side comparison of the two, of a retro versus an original. And I think people found those videos very interesting, just to see, like, how good can the brand get a retro sneaker as close to an original as possible. I mean, they still can't do it. So, I kind of think of it as your grandmother's cooking, right? Grandmother has this recipe where, like, every Thanksgiving you look forward to it, right? And it's like, it's just that one dish that she makes that is like awesome. But then if your mom or your sister makes it, it's not the same. You know what I mean? So
Oh
that's
yeah,
what I'm talking about with the retro. Is like you want to have the original, make them. So
right. Yeah,
yeah,
and I
that's
mean that was really helpful when I saw your videos. Comparing again the Bread 11s and the Concords, and like going all the way back. That was really helpful for me because my wife and I, we're hemming and hawing, how much do we really like them, and then it was like, oh, these are really getting as close to the OGs as can be. Because my brother being a Jordan collector growing up, he got the breads before I did, but then I got the new ones, and he was like, yeah, but yours have the 45 on the back, and I could actually like look at your video and say, yeah, but here's the history, and here's why that's cooler than yours. Obviously it's always a competition between the two of us. So,
so he ended up being the sneaker person, and you ended up being the card person.
well, so we both are into sneakers and cards, but he is exclusively into OG Jordan colorways, and he's very picky with which ones he wants. So I definitely have more shoes than him. But it's not uncommon for like when there's a pair of Jordans, the breads, he got OG pair before I got the new, the same thing with the Concords, and the Space Jams he got. I didn't get the Space Jams. And I know he wants to get I only want the OG colorways. He didn't, I was talking to him about the cap and gowns, and he was like,
Yeah.
no, I don't like those. And I'm like, man, those, they might not be OG, but those are sweet. Those are sweet ones. So
Yeah, I mean, like I said, with the Jordan 11s, like they don't really mess with them too much. They try and keep them with something that's, I guess, wearable, because a lot of the shoes nowadays, when it comes to retros and collabs, they go like off the wall with them. Like they'll start like making the shoes look vintage, distressing the shoes and whatnot, and that's like the in thing now. But yeah, like you were talking about the Concords, like this is an original right here. So this was my first love right here. This one started it for me, and I think I have the picture in here of me when I was 16 years old.
Oh wow, yeah.
So that's me and my sister, and I'm wearing the shoes.
Yep, that's awesome.
Right down there. I mean, I don't have the hair anymore, but but I mean, those are good memories, and I'm glad to have them. So these are the original from 1995. So Jordan wore these, as you guys might know, like in the '95 playoffs when he came back. After actually it wasn't a full year yet. I think he broke these out in the 94-95 playoffs. So actually, man, I better get this right or else I'm gonna get knocked.
No, I think that's what I remember, because I always remember it as he wore the number 45 in the 94-95 season for the playoffs.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So 1995, 94-95, the Bulls made the playoffs. They were against the Orlando Magic, and these are the shoes that got busted out. And I remember the first time I saw this, Ahmad Rashad was doing his sideline interview, and he's talking about him, and something about like, well, I guess the NBA kind of banned them because they didn't go with the uniform rules. So that's why you saw like the Space Jams, but Ahmad Rashad was wearing those things, and I was like, whenever those come out, I gotta get them, and that's what started the sneakers for me. So back in '95.
And it's funny you have that memory, because the thing that really hit home with me was the foam posits. My brother was at a basketball camp, and I saw, the last day of camp, we went, everybody was scrimmaging, and I saw one guy wearing these crazy looking blue shoes. And of course, Penny was my guy and then, and I was like, I don't know what those are, but I need those. And my parents were like, okay, well, we'll ask around. And my brother was like, he's not getting those, because he knew like they didn't make a ton of them, and they were very expensive even then because of the technology in them. So when they retroed those, like those were my first, like, gotta have it. What is that? That's bizarre, but it's crazy cool. And then the Concords were like the number 2 for me forever.
Nice. Yeah. I wore foam positives actually the other day, and I was walking through the mall trying to look to see like what came out and whatnot. And you get stopped over by those guys that clean the shoes, like outside the sneaker stores. He's like, hey, my man, can I and he didn't even know what the sneakers were. Like,
No.
your shiny boots. I'm like, yeah, they're pretty much boots, all right. But you know, your man already told me that he was gonna clean them up, and I declined. So, but yeah, foam posits are pretty cool. Like I feel like those um have stood definitely the test of time. It's a love or hate shoe. Not everyone likes
Hmm.
them. They do feel like boots. You can wear them in the rain, in the snow. Like they don't get messed up. So, yeah, foams definitely are a good shoe in my
Yeah.
opinion. So,
Yeah, I mean, they take a minute to break in, but once you break them in, I mean, they are incredibly comfortable. I mean, it's not like wearing a pair of Ultra Boost or, it's not that kind
oh
of
yeah.
comfort. But for a
Hmm.
casual basketball shoe, I mean, I absolutely love Alpha Air. So those Zoom Air units are so comfortable to me. And you double stack them. I mean, yeah, anyway, I'm nerding out on the, on the tech now, but it's just so
It's all
comfortable.
good. Yeah, definitely. Man, I love it, man. I kind of interchange all the time when it comes to cards and sneakers or whatever my hobbies are at the moment. So, I mean, I love it all. It's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and so one of the things that has attracted me to certain cards that might be kind of outside of my penny PC is if I'm looking at them and I see a pair of shoes that I'm like, oh yeah, I love those shoes. Like when you talked about the Space Jams and Jordan wearing those in the playoffs, I immediately thought of the 95, 96 Ultra and like especially the gold medallion where you can very clearly see the Space Jams in that picture. Does that attract you to? Yeah, there they are. There they are. Does it matter to you if you see the shoes in a card? Does it make you like it more because it's kind of that crossover?
So I always attribute sneakers with years. So 95, 96 was around the time that Jordan was wearing the 11. So I guess you didn't see that until like 96, 97 cards. So, they always take older photos and put them
Right.
in the newer sets and whatnot. But if I see it, yeah, definitely, it's something that would attract me. There's a few guys that I follow on Instagram that they'll do like a sneaker card Sunday type thing or whatnot,
Hmm.
and they'll post and make a hashtag and whatnot, and they'll zoom in on the pictures and be like, yeah, this was the shoe like back in the '90s kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, stuff like that is always great. Like I love to see like some of the old heat, so to speak, that
Yep.
they post like in on social or like in cards. But as far as like actively looking for it, I mean, not really. Like I probably should pay attention more to it because I'm a sneaker guy. But um, yeah, would you say the gold medallion,
Yeah,
98
95,
gold medallion?
96. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
Which
gonna
is
have to put that on my checklist.
right? Well, like you were saying, a lot of times there's a ton of 96, 97 cards where Jordan's got the Concords in them. There's very few from 95, 96 because it had to be later in the season and all that stuff where they came out. But, like
Yeah.
that's one that jumps out to me. There's also the Natural Born Thrillers from 95,
Yep.
96 uses the same picture that's used in the Lynchpins from 98, 99. So
I
like you
love that linchpin
yeah, like,
card.
and it's just such a cool card. It's a cool picture of Jordan, and you can see the Concords. But then when you put those two side by side, and the coloring in them, they both have kind of some blue colors in the cards. Stuff like that always intrigues me when you see those synergies.
Yeah, I just learned on that linchpins card because I'm always doing research on stuff too. Is they the arenas I guess put a little tribute on the back of that card, kind of thanking Michael Jordan
Really?
for yeah. I think what was the odds of that card are like one in I don't know
Oh,
like
I don't remember off the top of my head. It's like 1 in 98, I want to say. I'll look it up. I can't remember off the top. They're long odds. It's not easy to pull those cards for sure.
yeah, especially with Jordan, I'm sure.
Yeah,
But yeah, it was pretty cool to like learn that they actually put a tribute on the back of that card
I'm gonna have to go
to
look
Michael
that up.
Jordan.
That's really cool.
Yeah, because usually on the back of them you have like a description of the front or like career stats or
Yeah.
whatnot. Um, but yeah, I think it's pretty cool. Like even when I go back into old Beckett, it's like I try to like learn some of the old sets and like
Hmm.
what were the chase cards back in the day. So I'm always trying to do like a little bit of my research and write down stuff. I'm getting old, man. I'm already in my 40s, so like I need to write stuff down.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm the same way. I mean, yeah, and it's funny you mentioned the old Beckett's because I have like a small stack behind me. I love looking through the old Beckett's, and like I also think sometimes for me, our memory fails us, and what we remember being true as like kids in the '90s, and what's we remember being true now are very different things. And like I know I was talking to somebody, I was like, I remember Topps Chrome lagged behind Topps Finest for the first like year or so. And they're like, "Are you sure?" And I went and looked at one of the old Beckett's, and sure enough, if you look, there was a very short window of time, but when that stuff first came out, Topps Finest was still more valuable than the Topps Chrome. It didn't last too much longer, but going back to those old historical documents that'll make sure you're right.
Yeah, I mean, I even remember as a kid, like in talking to friends that were into cards at the time too, is like, the arrows either going up or going down.
Yep.
And they were like, "Oh, hey, the Jordan rookie or whatever is going up," or like it went up, or yeah. But I literally learned that it was the previous time, yeah, if it did go up or go down or stay the same, there was nothing. But and then even the hot list too. That was one of the things too that I enjoyed. Just trying to see like what were the hot cards that are there at the moment. So yeah, I'm gonna have to even go back in the old Beckett's and kind of see like because they even have some good articles too. Regarding some things that you can't really find on social or like if people are doing videos on them. Like you kind of really have to you know really thumb through magazines and be like, okay, well maybe I can expound on that point or that notion. But it's been really fun to actually to really just go back through them, and even your channel too. Like it's really cool to like even hear the odds because sometimes like people will not you know place the odds on like a basketball pack, and I always wonder like, okay, well I gotta go search for it, and sometimes it's not even on Google. So hopefully someday maybe somebody can even create like a list of like sets that has like the actual odds of pulling whatever. Because yeah, I always find that stuff informative with your channel, and I look forward to any of that stuff. And hopefully you pull the cards that you talk about, but,
Right.
like the packs that you open, it's awesome. Like like my wife came in the other day into the office, and I was ordering some packs on eBay or whatever, and she's like, "You're watching a channel on cards? Like, what are you looking for?" And I'm like, "Leave me alone. This is my space." Like I would wonder my kids. I love my wife to death, but like I would wonder my kids like come in and ask like, "Why are you watching somebody open packs?" I'm like, "It's fun. Leave me alone."
It is. It's like living vicariously through it,
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? So I mean, if like that's the whole part of the nerding out thing on the hobby, and it's just just fun just to even with sneaker reviews like on YouTube, people would do like the same review on the same shoe, but like everyone has a different take on it.
Right.
So you want to be able to like get their take on it and like what their opinions are on it, and whether or not it's an opportunity for you if you want to purchase it or not. I know with my videos, and I've been on a long hiatus. I've kind of taken a break from it altogether as far as like sneaker reviews on YouTube are concerned. But hopefully I'll come back like after the summer and kind of ease my way back in. But like I want to be able to like show up close like how the materials look. Is the leather worth it? Is your dollar worth it to be able to spend for the sneaker? Is it something that I feel like, in my opinion, long term will be like a good like value to you if you decide to resell it later on.
Yeah.
So those are just some of the things that I like to like incorporate with my videos when it comes to like reviews, to be able to show you the sneaker up close, how easy was it to obtain, stuff like that. Whether I get seated, like I guess I don't know if the terminology is there with cards, but when you're seated product, you're essentially like given product from a brand. Sometimes they want you to have some talking points when it comes to reviewing the sneaker, or they're just showing love and they just want to give it to you and just want to hear your honest opinions. I know for me, like I always want to give my true honesty when it comes to reviewing something, because I'm just like a consumer like everyone else. Like, I'm out there buying the product, or I was given the product. I let the brand know, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna give you my 110% honest opinion about it, and I don't want to BS anyone about it. So, hopefully you respect that. And I feel like, sometimes people will be able to sniff that out if
Mhm.
if they know you're kind of BSing on things, or you're being a shill to a brand. Like, I feel like that's some of the things that make people feel like you may be disingenuous about the product. But like, I just like to give my 110% thoughts and review on the item. So, I feel like that needs to happen a lot more often. And I understand, like, sometimes people, will have to shill because they're in fear of, maybe they will not get more products from a particular brand, or
Sure.
they'll get cut off and whatnot. And I totally understand, sometimes, like, you need that product to, and to stay consistent, especially if you live in an area that you don't get sneakers like that, or just to keep the lights on. And
Mhm.
it's a career for most, but to me, it's kind of like a hobby. And it's one of those things where, like, hey, I'm gonna be true about, like, what I say, and you can either rock with me or you don't. You can there's a million other channels out there that you can watch, but this is me. So
Yeah. And it's funny because one of the influences into my channel was early, and he's kind of a hot rod for controversy now, but Gary V, his,
mhm.
first channel was Wine Library TV, and he reviewed wine, and he would sometimes not really like some wine from certain people, and their feathers would get ruffled because, hey, we put a lot of time and it's expensive wine and stuff. And he always said, I'm going to give my honest opinion. I haven't seen companies do that much yet with cards. If there's a new release of Optic with Panini, I know that they do, give some away to some people, but I haven't seen them do it with the expectation of them reviewing it. Although, if they hit me up and said, "Hey, could you open some and let us know what you think?" I would be happy to do that. And like you said, I would give my honest opinion. It was 2 years ago now. I'm trying to remember which exact year, but 1920 Prism. I went when you could actually buy it at retail outlets. And I went and got some of the ones you could get. There were exclusives at Walmart and Target, and I opened them and compared them. And I was hearing a lot of people say that they liked the Walmart one because of some of the stuff you got. And I
Right.
opened it and I was like, I like the Target one better, honestly.
Yeah.
I liked because it had the red cracked ice, and I just like it was more exciting opening it from my perspective. At the same time, I'm a '90s collector, so like I'm not chasing the same stuff that somebody who's collecting modern cards is going to be chasing those. I'm just doing it for the thrill of opening.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of times the stuff that you see broken on, cards is, the live breaks that people are bought into. So the people breaking it almost have to feign enthusiasm when, a pretty mundane card comes out. Whereas me, it's like these are cards that I've paid for the packs and they're going into my PC, or I'm giving them to people. I'm gonna give you if I'm disappointed with the packs, I'll say it
Yeah.
at the end and let you know. So
Oh man, I got a lot of common cards. I don't even know what to do. Like, I know there's people out there that set build, and ComC is probably one of the places that you should go to submit your cards. But I mean, as far as like stuff like that, like, I don't know. Like, I just bought myself a scanner like last month, and I was like, well, I'm gonna try and scan some stuff, but then I know it's overwhelming sometimes. And
hmm
like, I like for my MJ collection, and I have them like right here, ready to go. If you want me to like pull out some stuff,
oh,
but
whenever you want to
um,
pull it out.
but like, I have a spreadsheet for every single Jordan card that I have. So I do the same thing with sneakers. I
hmm
feel like, the organization needs to be there. So or else I'll go crazy. But it's one of the things as part of the hobby that I love to just put on a spreadsheet and be like, okay, well, I can check that off the list. And I'll even have something in my phone too, where I have like, I separated them all by years: 95,
Yep.
96, 96, 97, and every single year. Or like, somebody will post it on social, like, okay, I need to add that one on. Oh, I need
Right.
to add that one. So sometimes I feel like with a lot of low end, I've already finished like what I wanted to put in there. So I mean, shoot, let's just pull some stuff out.
For sure.
You know, um, actually, I wanted to share. So my first experience with cards back in 1991 was Fleer basketball.
Oh yeah.
So a lot of people know what this is. This is an unopened box. I actually ended up buying for, I don't know, under $100. But I knew I needed to have at least this because I remember going into when cards used to be sold at like liquor stores and stuff like that. My dad would get like Lotto every single week, and I'd tag along with him as an 11-year-old, and uh, you know, the cards would kind of be near the Playboy magazines, and you kind of like are like this, trying not to get caught, you know, by the by the store manager. But you know, right next to it is the card section, and so grab a few packs, bring them home, instantly hooked. Like
Yep.
I was in love. So you know, as far as pulling 91 Fleer, you know what I mean.
Oh yeah.
You guys know like
I love that
what
All
it's
Star
all
one
about.
with like the big head in the front. And I've seen, you know, about the Rapper Redemption, like the 3D ones that are acrylic.
Yeah.
So I saw one. I mean, I don't know how many there are. We don't know the print runs, but one of the All Stars, and they had the head was the one that kind of popped forward, and I was like, man, that's cool. Yeah, I love the All Star one right there with that squad.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like 91 Fleer was like one of the ones that like caught my attention real quick, and it's so crazy after The Last Dance that all this junk wax era stuff just skyrocketed in price, and I'm like, why the heck are uh Skybox 90 Skybox and 91 Skybox like $200 a box?
I
Like,
know, right?
It used to be cheap. Like I didn't understand. I love these too. 91 Upper Deck with the hologram.
Oh, the holograms. Man, when those came out, my dad was like, this is the coolest thing they've ever put on cardboard. It's so cool. And the other thing, too, about those, they're super thin. Those first year, like, those are flimsy cards. They can get damaged easily.
Yeah. I didn't understand, but I mean, I guess nowadays, like, some of the tricks that people do is weighing packs. So the heavier the pack, the more, you know, odds that you get for pulling, like, you know, because of course you got to get the thick card and put a jersey in and whatnot. But yeah, you couldn't tell with that, or I mean, people didn't really care back in the 90s. So these are cool too, like the trading cards.
I love those. The Mars. Yeah.
So
I want to get that. I think those came in like a box set from Foot Locker, and I gotta look some of those up. I want some of those so bad.
Yeah. So I thought that was a pretty cool transition between like sneakers and card right there. But
absolutely.
But my absolute favorite, though, I gotta say, Jake, is 93, 94 Fleer Ultra.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Okay. Fleer Ultra has.
I hope I know what it's coming.
Fleer Ultra has a lot of the sick inserts. So, well, even regular Fleer, like you know, the Living Legends.
Yeah, that's slept on. I love those, and that's one of the last. The 93, 94 is the last year that you can get playing year, quote unquote, Larry Bird cards. So that Living Legend, I always think about the Larry Bird.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's awesome. That's a good point. So, sharpshooter.
Yeah. Love that.
Yeah, but you know, we're talking about Fleer Ultra. You know.
Yeah, there it is.
And I have it on top loader. I know people are probably screaming like, "Why do you have that thing in a top loader? It should be in a case." But
nah, man, enjoy it the way you love it.
Yeah,
I just rated mine, but I get a top loader. I get a 7, and you know, it's one of those you can clearly see when there's imperfections because it's just a dark card, so you can see it on the edge in the corner. I knew it wasn't going to grade high, but I was happy with that.
Yeah, I remember pulling this as a kid and just be like, "Wow, this is an awesome card." You got like lightning in the background,
right?
The arenas were responsible for this design that I learned later on. I ended up following their Instagram account, and it was pretty cool to like hear the backstory
I
on their
love when
stuff,
they share the backstory behind the design. I mean, you can find some of
right?
that in some of the old Beckett's, but then when you like hear some of the other like details, and they had an interview with Cardboard Chronicles, and they shared some other details, like they talked about the PMGs and why they picked the red and the green. I love hearing the design stories.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. And they were so responsible for a lot of the '90s cards. This is one of my favorite too, the base of the
Yep.
deck. Yeah. And even learning some like there was one other card that I learned about.
There was I think he was a Magic photographer, and he was talking about the photo that he took of Vince, where he had the ball like cocked back. He was going up for a lob, and he got it cocked back, and the photographer took the photo just at the right time where it looked like Vince was actually going to dunk the ball, but it was just like a bad play, and it was like a missed lob kind of thing. So
Yep.
I think it's pretty cool just to hear stories like that we thought that Vince was actually dunking the ball there, but it was a dead play. I think there's even one Jordan play. I forget which one it was, but it was on a card. It's losing me right now. I think it's the not the Patrick Ewing 92-93 Skybox.
Okay. Yep.
I don't think it is. Oh wait, this one. Here we go. Was it the 92-93 Ultra where he actually missed this dunk or something like that?
Okay.
I think that's the story behind it. Like this was one that he played Los Angeles, and I think he missed the dunk. I don't know. It's one of those things where like you hear the backstory of like how these photos became part of the cards, and they're like they look iconic, iconic poses and whatnot,
right?
But like they're like dud stories.
Yeah.
So
there was an Instagram account, and the name's eluding me. I'll try to put it up there, but they had for a while gone and taken the photos in cards and found the plays. Like they found the video of the plays, and they would some of those plays, like the Kobe Topps rookie comes to mind, where that picture, I think it ended up being a travel. It was a turnover. Kobe turned the ball over. Yeah, that one right there. Yep. Yeah, so it ended in a turnover. Like it wasn't anything spectacular for a play, but the card itself is iconic. The Topps and the Topps Chrome. So it's really interesting because those pictures become iconicized with those cards and then sometimes those plays were really great plays and sometimes they weren't. But the picture lives on. So
here's MJ with his 45. This is one of the first cards, right, with his number 45 on there.
Yeah, and actually the story that I recall is that picture actually had the number 23 jersey, and they changed it. So there's a very few copies of that got out with a 23 on it. And they're like really rare errors.
Oh, really?
And I don't know the whole story about if those were backdoored or if they just kind of were early releases that got out. I don't even know if they were pack pulled, but there's a few you sometimes can find them online. Like if you Google the pictures, you might be able to find it.
Nice. Yeah, so stuff like that. 88, 89
classic
MJ. I got the set of I actually have two binders, full binders of this set.
Wow. That was a set I wanted to collect as a kid, and I still have the set that I collected. I look back at it, and the centering on a lot of them is not.
Yeah,
not
a lot of the centering on the Fleer is definitely tough.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can understand if somebody's going to try and attempt to trim them, but I mean, when it comes to grading them, especially with PSA nowadays, you're going to have the introduction of Genamint.
Right. Good luck.
It's not going to be too easy to get past that machine learning type stuff. So, good luck.
Right.
Another classic too.
Oh yeah, the second year Fleer.
Yeah,
love that. Those are tough to grade too. The centering again kills those.
Mm-hmm. But my personal, this is a good one too.
Yep. Yeah, that's a classic because of PMGs.
So I found that this one graded an 8. So
that's
I actually
really
found this at a flea market. It was
No
hidden
kidding.
inside like a screw down,
Okay.
and the guy didn't know he had it. It was like, man, when you go digging at the flea market, and this is like one of the rare times that I'll go to the flea market. Like I had to dig through just to find
Sure.
anything cards. You know what I mean? Because that was my intention to go and find cards. It happened to be this, and it was in a screw down, and I was like, shoot, it's not going to grade well.
Yeah, yeah.
And so the guy gave it to me for like $2.
Okay.
Ended up sending it in, and I got an 8. So, screw downs aren't totally gonna alter. I mean, give you a what is it? What type
Yeah,
of grade?
sometimes they flatten out the card. Yeah, so they'll come back as being altered, or
Altered.
sometimes they don't even grade them. I've seen that happen. People send them in.
Yeah. And but where's my other? Here we go. I didn't even have a case for this, so I just had like one of the books.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a team bag of 86 star,
Wow.
and it's still in the original bag. I can't even remember how I got this. I know it's like through eBay,
Wow.
and so I
And
guess
some
the
people
story.
grade those whole bags now. I think
do they?
PSA. I don't know if it's PSA or GAIA. One of them will grade the whole thing unopened, which is really cool when you see them.
I honestly rather do that than having to cut it open and just grade
Yeah.
it the MJ, because I would like to keep it as a collector. Like I like to keep the bag intact. So
Absolutely.
I put them in a mag like book type.
That's perfect. I love that.
Yeah, I know there's like extra space, but like, but the number one card for me, Jake.
Oh yeah.
Finally got my MJ rookie. So
When'd you get that?
It was 2 months ago, maybe.
Wow.
There's a big dip in Jordan rookies now, but I probably got it like at the beginning of it. So this is a BGS 8. Obviously, PSA is gonna, be a higher value card. But the person had it was given to them like from their brother for Christmas, and I ended up striking a deal with the person. It took me a long time to actually pull the trigger on an MJ rookie. It's one of those things where like it's on the back burner, and like you eventually want to have something in your collection.
Yeah.
A Jordan rookie. I feel like to me as a collector, I'm not complete unless I have this. So I went how many years? 30 years, collecting cards, and I've never had the opportunity or even the funds to try and get this. Finally, like, as an adult, got my opportunity to get it, and it's in the collection. So, so happy that I was able to. I feel like this pretty much solidified my place, like in Jordan card collecting. You know what I mean? So
now, did you before getting that have a preference between getting a PSA or a BGS graded?
yeah. So I knew So at the height of the Last Dance documentary, obviously these things went beyond like a
Oh
table,
yeah.
you know what I mean? So even like PSA ones were going for what, $3,000 or whatnot, and I'm like, man, I can't afford $3,000. Like, so it's one of those things where like I had to sell some things in order to get this, or like save up money to be able to like, hey honey, I'm gonna spend under 10K or whatever to try and get this card. Like, I hope you're not gonna be mad. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things where like she understands it's the hobby. I'm a lifelong like collector, and so it's one of those things where like you're blessed to have a wife that like backs you on your hobbies type of thing. So
Yep.
Yeah, I was like, okay, well, I mean, we're probably not gonna get that remodeled kitchen this year. So it's gonna have to wait maybe a year or two, but it's worth it. It's just something I've wanted, like, if they're in the 30 years that I've been collecting cards, like, I hope you understand.
Right.
So yeah, I'm truly blessed to be able to find it. But yeah, back to your question, I knew I wanted at least a grade of an 8, whether it be PSA or BGS. 8.5 would have been like my absolute low, because there was no way I was going to be able to afford a 9 or a 10. And then I just noticed that BGS was a little bit under the value of PSA, which I don't understand because like I love the subgrades on
I know, me
BGS
too.
Lab. I'm hoping that Nat Turner is able to put well, not on the label itself, but when you scan the barcode on the back, like I hope it spits out like more of that information as far as centering edges, corners, and surface. That's something that I feel like is necessary in our hobby, especially if we're collectors. We want to be able to know what the subgrades are and like why particular
Mhm.
card got that main grade. Like I feel like that's important because you want to be able to know like other than like eye appeal. I'm assuming I know like there's things about particular cards. It's like the corners probably couldn't have been better or but I understand like why I got that grade.
Yeah.
So I think there just needs to be a little bit more clarification when it comes to grading. I know like grading companies don't want to give away their trade secrets and whatnot, but I feel like as a collector it's important to know like why it got what it got. So
yeah, I agree.
What are your
I
thoughts
love the
about that?
subgrade. I love the subgrades for the same reason. And I mean, if I'm getting something graded for my PC, going beyond, BGS is shut down, PSA only has certain, when everything's open back up and prices are, let's just say before Last Dance pricing is back. If I'm grading something for my PC, I'm going BGS. As long as I think it's going to get an 8.5 or above, just because I like the way that the slab looks with the silver and the gold flips. And PSA, it gets more on the market. So yeah, sure. If I want to grade something and I might sell it or trade it, I might go PSA. But I also like the SGC slabs. But I think for me, the subgrades are the deciding factor. And also, I hear a lot of people that collected in the '90s. I mean, BGS was it. Was like the thing to get for your cards graded in the '90s. I mean, PSA was still up there, but BGS was king for a lot of us, and I it's hard for me to shake that nostalgia and the brand of Beckett too. The Beckett price guys we've talked about. So yeah, I definitely agree. And also, I was going to say, my brother being an MJ guy, he doesn't have a rookie yet, but he's always said that when he gets a chance to strike at one, he wants to get a BGS graded one, preferably an 8.5 or better.
Cool.
So
Yeah, I feel like as a collector, it's one of those things like you collect a particular player, you have to get like the grail card of that particular player, or like, in terms of like sneakers, like the grail shoe. So, this is a 1985 original Air Jordan 1 with the original box. So it's one of those things where like I had to get it. So, all vintage looking from 1985. I even
such
put
a classic.
the hang tag in a
Okay. Yep.
you know what I mean?
Just to protect it a little bit. I like that.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that was the way it came, but that's awesome. I mean,
No,
and I
I
love
noticed
seeing
that.
how high cut that OG is, because looking at, like, I have one of this, I don't remember what year these came out, but the patent leather version, and you see how much lower cut that heel is. A lot of the retros now, I mean, these are fun and kind of goofy because of patent leather, and it's like very 2000s. So
Yeah, so
like,
even a used pair of originals go for at least $2K. I ended up buying one of these for I think around 700. This was probably maybe, I don't know, 5 years ago. So they've been pretty popular. Jordan 1's been pretty popular over the
Yep.
years.
I mean, it's just, I feel like the Jordan 1s are like an all-time iconic shoe because it's the first shoe of the line that really created the shoe culture in a lot of ways. I mean, without the Jordan brand, it's just, I don't know what if we'd be talking about shoes right now if it wasn't for the Jordan brand, in all honesty.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It smells like 1985 too. Look, like a little bit of chipping at the collar is coming off of my finger. So, like, as far as like protectiveness and whatnot, like that's still one of the shoes that I could, rock around like at a sneaker convention, and like the term is breaking necks. I could break your neck, looking at the shoe,
Right.
But Yeah, it's a tough shoe to wear, especially with the technology like back in it. Like I'm sure the airbag is all gone in it. So, but
Right.
there's when it comes to older sneakers, like people think that it's totally done with once it cracks and it's done, it
Hmm.
like bursts on you. But restoration methods and restorers out there, customizers and whatnot. There are methods out there. These guys are good. Like they can repair anything.
Okay.
So even if you find like a beat pair of shoes, like you can definitely contact one of these guys, or even DIY off YouTube. YouTube's great for DIY stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So even as simple as like I don't know, a cleanup. Like there's tons of methods nowadays that wasn't available back then that you can restore shoes like pretty much anything now. So nothing's ever lost.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's a cool thing too with shoes. Like for me, when I get a new pair of shoes, like we're talking about pennies, I usually wear them, but I'm like very selective with certain pairs of shoes, like where and when I wear them. So like
Mhm.
my Concords, I've probably worn like a dozen times out in public, outside of like wearing them around my house every so often. And I wore them when we went to the mall to pick up the breads. My wife and I both wore our pairs, and I remember there were some kids that like both that saw both of us wearing them, and they're like, "Man, those things look brand new. They're clean." And I was like, "Yeah, they've only been worn like twice, so they better be clean."
Yeah, but I mean, it makes you feel good when people like kind of notice, and like anytime somebody like around the mall like wears a pair of Heat that I'm like, yeah, those are nice. I let them know, like,
Yeah.
because you want to be proud of your purchases and what you're wearing. So like, hey man, nice shoes. Like, but I guess sometimes around these parts like here, like I live in not I don't live in the bad part of town, but I mean, if you go to the mall, it's kind of like I don't know. It's not really the bad part, but I mean, sometimes people will think like, "Hey, you're paying attention to the shoes, but like, are you planning on like robbing me?" You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
So,
sure.
you kind of have to pick and choose, I guess, and figure out like uh, whether or not you should compliment or not. But
Right.
more times so often, I will because I know it's gonna make the person feel good, just even in passing too sometimes. So.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, one of the things that I always like to think about is just like that collector gene in us. And I mean, you definitely talked about that and how, it's a hobby for you in both aspects. And, we might all approach it a little differently. And, some people want every card they have graded. Some people want every shoe they have worn. Some people want them all dead stock. Some people want all their cards raw. Like, there's so many different ways to collect. And,
Yeah.
I mean, but the same mentality I think goes into collecting. Where, like you were saying, we don't want to sell the stuff unless we have to. I mean, I think it's. I have always said I think there's a lot of synergies between cards and wine collectors and shoe collectors. It's just it's just the different aspects of them that make them all unique.
Yeah, and you can definitely nerd out in each and every single one. You know what I mean? Like you meet somebody that is a collector of another item, and it's like, man, how do you know so much about a particular thing? Like, it's one of those things where it's rooted in passion. So,
Right.
I'm all for it. Like, I have no problems with the way that other people want to collect what they collect. Like, if it makes you happy, definitely keep up with it. Do your thing. Like, because life is short, you know what I mean? So
Right.
just enjoy what you need to enjoy.
For sure. So I've got to ask, you flash those 98.99 upper deck packs. You want to rip some packs?
Yeah.
Or
So
are
I
you saving
mean,
those for a special moment? I don't want to pressure you into doing it,
no,
but
no, no.
if
I
you want
wanted
to,
to. I told you I said I'm gonna open some stuff,
all right,
but
let's do it.
I don't know how I should approach it. Do you want me like on a? I have like a little tripod thing where I can kind of shoot down and look at it, or do you
You
want me
know, whatever works for you. You can just show it to the camera if you want,
to? Okay, let's
and we
do
can
it.
see your reaction when you pull that jersey card.
And that's one of the crazy things too. Is like some of those things are just hidden in the packs, and you never know. Like there's, I think I contacted you a few weeks ago, and you had forwarded me to some guys, but yeah, I wanted to know like if all the jersey whatever numbers, because some of them are like numbered, some of them are not, and some
Right.
of them are signed, some of them are not. Like for example, this is one pack that I have that has up here. It says, "Look for Michael Jordan autographed game worn jersey cards." Right, but
Yep.
then I look at my other packs, and it doesn't have that part at the bottom. So
Right.
is it like? I mean, you know more than me. Like, are some packs that have that uh, more so often? Like, you can pull more of the the autograph pieces in these versus these, or are they all the same? Or like,
So what it probably is, without looking at the details, is probably that one that you're looking at that you can pull the auto jerseys. I'm gonna guess is a hobby pack, and the one that doesn't say it, I'm gonna guess is a retail pack.
okay,
Because sometimes they have exclusives, so that's an assumption. I'm not 100% sure, but I know for a fact you can get jersey cards in both hobby and retail for those.
okay,
It just might be that those Jordan autos, they were like, let's make sure that, sometimes those retail packs they sell at Walmart, and some 5-year-old kid opens it up and is like, oh, what is this, and throws it out. The Upper Deck might not have wanted that to happen with a Jordan auto. So
okay. That makes sense. I mean, as far as like a hobby pack versus yeah, and I see it here on the pack itself. One hobby exclusive autograph game worn jersey card.
mhm.
You know what? Should I wear gloves?
You can. I don't. But some people get very. I know, like some of the breakers make sure they wear gloves. So,
Okay, I'm gonna wear
um,
gloves just in case, because
all right.
if I get fingerprints on it, and I don't want to spend my time getting a microfiber and
And then
the
wipe it
card,
down.
I might like damage the edge of the patch or whatnot. So, I mean, I'm not saying I'm gonna pull it. I mean, but I mean,
You never
we
know.
can be lucky.
It could happen. So I know while you're gloving up, throughout the Upper Deck products in 98, 99, each one had a different Jordan jersey card with different pictures. I know we were talking about this before. And
Yeah.
if I remember correctly, there are 13 different versions of the Jordan jersey card. And each jersey that's autographed is numbered to 23. So whatever 13 times 23 is how many total jersey autos there are from 98, 99. But each one of those pictures, so like there's some people who want one of every single picture, and there's only 23 of that, that given one. And we'll see what we can get. I think
Yeah.
I think my brother said that he's pretty sure that all of the Jordan jersey autos are accounted for, but I've never seen anything corroborating that. So, you know what? When we open the pack and you pull one, then we'll know.
Hey, and if I do, that's content and views for your channel. So,
And I can't wait to do a PSA grades that thing.
I got these packs specifically for the purposes of pulling the jersey. There's a card shop that's local that it has like had these for the longest, and like he didn't have. Man, why is it taking me so long to get these gloves on?
One size too small. It looks like OJ's glove.
Hey, stop it now. We're not gonna talk about that. But
I know.
he's had these for like the longest, and overpriced. You know what I mean? But
For
it's one of
sure.
those things where like, if I have the opportunity to pull the jersey, hey, I guess that's just the gamble that we're just gonna have to take. So,
Yep.
these packs I have not been able, like when I was collecting, is like one of those things where like I didn't really pay attention
Mm-hmm.
to grabbing them. So like it's been fun just like grabbing some junk wax stuff. It's been fun to just like kind of open them up and just see what you get. But so my method, let's see. I have 2 packs here. I don't know, how many do you want to do?
As many as you want. It's up to you. They're your packs, buddy.
Let's go 3.
All
3
right.
strikes you're out kind of thing.
I like it.
Okay. So I'll save that autograph one for last, just in case.
All right.
So we'll
Save
pull
the best for last.
Yeah, we'll pull the 2. So my method, really, I know like stuff bricks, so I kind of like
Yeah.
bend it a little bit just so you
Okay.
can hear like the crinkling. And I don't know if that's like cliche for some people, but like I feel like it loosens it up a little bit.
See, some people would cringe right now seeing that, but in all honesty, I'm going to be completely transparent. I've done that too. When I've felt a pack, um, if I think it's bricking, I'll give it a little squeeze and see if I can try to help it along. So
Yeah, and there's different methods that people use. They freeze them, they heat them up, but bricking is hard. That's just like another.
yeah, I've tried freezing them. Oh, it doesn't
Still
work.
nothing, huh?
No. And a lot of times, if you try to throw it in the microwave, I mean, the foil on the pack sometimes will, arc your microwave. Sometimes the foil on the cards, if you take them out of the pack, and then you get a whole. I've seen some crazy damage to stuff that's been thrown in the microwave. That's bad news.
Foil in the microwave? No, man.
Yeah,
Like it's
exactly.
It's 100 something degrees where I'm living in, so I just throw up on the sidewalk with an egg.
There you go.
All right, here we go. I use scissors. I try
All right.
to get the. I don't like to be a caveman when I open my packs, just because I feel like it. I don't know. It dings it sometimes,
You can,
like the
for
corners and
sure.
stuff. So I make sure that the cards are like
Yep.
way down there, right? And I cut like at the very
Yep.
top of the foil. And how I remove them is I kind of just go from the bottom. And
Okay.
go up.
Give it a little push.
Yeah. So I feel like that is the best way to do it. All right, so here we go.
Oh yeah, my guy PJ Brown.
PJ Brown. You name them off because.
All right, I'll name them off. I got you. Are they sticking at all? Is that Matt
just
Bowler?
a little.
Sam Mack? I can't tell who that is. One of those old guys. Or is that Mario Ellie?
Mario Elliott.
There we go. Third time's the charm. AC Green?
Yep.
All right.
I'm like quizzing you, huh? Here we go.
Is that
AJ?
Dennis Scott?
Dennis Scott. Man, he played for the Suns?
Yeah, just after he left Orlando.
Huh.
I don't think he played with Penny there, though. I think he left. Bobby Serra. Oh, yeah. Big Dog?
Big Dog.
Yeah. Clarence Weatherspoon. I forgot he played for the Warriors. Oh, man.
Wow. 98, 99, huh?
That might have been one of his last years. Is that David Wesley? No. Is that
This is Corey Beck.
Corey? I don't remember him at all.
Clarence Weatherspoon, going back to him, it's only his 6th year.
Because he was a rookie in '92. That's right. I can't remember when he left the league though. I don't know when his last year was.
Yeah, I don't know. We go to the next card.
MJ, not the one we wanted though.
Not the one that we wanted.
That's
so,
a cool picture.
What do we got here? This is, they're all numbered at 230, right?
Yeah,
So, and this one's bricking a little bit. So,
of course.
but I see the player on
the
the
MJ.
back. Ugh. Yeah, this is 230C. And then
Oh,
the
you got a
last card.
superpowers. So the superpowers, my buddy is trying to collect the entire silver set. There's also a gold parallel. The golds are numbered to 50, and there's a Jordan in there, as well as a whole bunch of other players, including Kobe. So if we get a gold superpowers, it's gonna be pretty sick.
Like just because people might say like, why aren't you sleeving this stuff?
Right?
I have them right here. I got a little station right here of like new sleeves, top loaders,
Yeah.
rubber bands. Like I have like a little area.
And
Right.
supplies are so hard to come by these days, so I'm sure there are some people that are envious that you have a penny sleeve fresh to go.
Oh yeah. Well, sometimes I'll have to grab them from like if I don't have them, I gotta grab them from like another.
I know, right?
Card.
I just got like 2,000 more penny sleeves, and I'm like, yeah, I'm stocked up for a while.
Oh yeah. I think a case is good.
Yeah, right.
All right, pack 2 of 3. Would I know like right away if I get a jersey card if it's a thick one? I don't know.
The jersey cards in the first couple of years weren't that thick, so I mean, I've never pulled one from a pack, but I don't think you'd be able to tell immediately. All right, we get Cedric Sabalas.
Yep, Cedric Sabalas, so the Dallas Mavericks there.
Loy Vaught, the
Loy
all-time
Vaught,
great
huh?
Clipper.
All right, this one's
Uh-oh.
sticking a little bit, but it's okay.
Vinny Del Negro, the coach.
Yes, sir.
Oh boy, that's Alan Henderson, right?
Yep, Allen Anderson.
Nice.
Oh,
I
the
love that
Hawks.
Hawks uniform. The black one. The black jersey, sick. Oh boy,
Who he play for?
is that's not Jed Butcher? Jed Butcher
John
had darker
Crotty.
hair. John Crotty. Oh, wow. I would have been waiting all night to try to guess that one. Jason Williams, okay.
Mhm.
Magic. Boel, no, yeah, Bo Outlaw, I think, right? Charles Outlaw.
Charles.
It says
Outlaw.
Charles. Yeah, Bo was his nickname. Yes, the Highway 99, the Admiral. Love it.
Okay.
Lucius Harris. Yes.
And then looks like we got a rookie card here.
Yeah. Oh, tractor trailer. R.I.P.
Yep.
baby. Rocking the penny shoes too.
Oh yeah.
I will
Good
I will
catch.
tell you, those pennies, I got a pair recently because I just had to have them. And my wife was like, those are some of the ugliest shoes I've ever seen. And I said, I'm going to be completely honest with you. They're not comfortable either. So, she's
Yeah,
like, so
those
why'd
are
you get them? I'm like, I have to have them. I'm a collector, baby.
Yeah, those are the penny fours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember those. All right, last one. This is the one
All
with
right.
the autograph.
This is the one that's got it.
You think?
It's going to be number 23 out of 23, too.
I don't know.
We'll see.
All
A
right,
lot of stuff. The mailman. Or is that Brian Russell?
this is Jacques Vaughn.
Jacques. Oh, I should have. I was way off.
It's okay. Next one.
Caffey? Is that Jason Caffey? Is that Armin Gilliam? No, Andrew Lang.
Andrew Lang. Yep.
There we go. Third time's a charm again.
Oh, hey, there you go.
There's MJ, the
MJ23.
MJ23. All right. All right.
So what are the odds on those?
Oh, I'm not sure off the top of my head. That's another one that has a lot of parallels.
Yeah. So MJ23 is looks like 1 in 23 packs. So
Look
beat the
what
odds
I
on
see what they
that.
did there. Yeah, you did.
Beat the odds on that, pulling that. So let's sleeve them up.
Sleeve it up.
Yeah, and he's wearing the Air Jordan 13s in there. So
The cherries, right?
cherries.
I like the Panthers personally. I'm gonna get a pair of the 13s. I think my wife's favorite pair of Jordans are the 13s. Those are the
Yeah,
11s.
they're pretty cool. They're pretty comfortable. I have a set of those.
Hubert Davis.
Yep. He was also a Jordan brand. Actually, there's a bunch of Jordan 10s from 1994. There were players that got exclusives from the brand themselves. So each representing like a city. So
Really?
yeah, back in '94, Hubert Davis used to play for the New York Knicks.
Yep.
So he got a shoe with his number on the side, I believe. Kendall Gill was another one. And he played for Seattle at the time. So number 13 on that.
So
there's other shoes.
Were those the 10s that they got the PEs of?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jordan 10.
And Nick Anderson got them.
Yeah, Nick Anderson. And Penny actually has one, I believe, of it was a previous year, Jordan 9.
The 9. Yeah, I want to see those retros so bad.
Yeah. Samaki
Walker. Yes.
Sean Elliott.
Oh yeah. Cockroach, that's what they used to call him in San Antonio.
Kevin Willis.
Classic. I loved him.
Mitch Richmond.
Yes. Man, he was so good.
Yeah. 20 points per game. I mean,
Yeah. East Highway 99 Dikembe. Love it.
and we were just talking about his shoes too, but he's
Yeah.
not wearing he's wearing the Nikes. And
Yeah, he switched over to the Nike Air Max.
yeah. So this was a later card, but that specific shoe we were talking about is of the 90s. Priest Lauderdale, last card.
Not from Fort Lauderdale.
So we didn't pull it, but I mean, we got two MJs.
You got two Jordans anyway.
Yep.
Beat the odds.
Beat the odds. But we were.
Everybody knows when I say we beat the odds in the packs, it means I'm a little disappointed. I didn't get the fire I wanted. So, but
Yeah.
we wanted a jersey card number to 23. So we were shooting for the moon.
I mean, I still have more packs, but it's not going to be the hobby exclusive signed ones. But I might save that, for another rainy day. If you guys want to follow me on my socials, you guys see it. MJO23DAN. It's all the same, all across the board. So
You got to do a video opening the rest of those.
yeah, I definitely would like to. If it's either Instagram or back on YouTube, definitely, man.
For sure. So before
actually,
we jump off, yeah, what you got?
one thing I wanted to share with you.
Oh yeah.
So this might be tough, but every pack, every box that I've opened, I've put in like these containers. So just some of the old
Oh
stuff,
my goodness.
like 2002, 2003 Ovation.
Man,
Like this is all empty. I'm sorry. Like
right.
This is stuff that like I've already opened, so it's not going to be like fresh. The Skybox.
No, so here's a little peek into my collecting. I used to take the packs I would open and I would cut them, right? So I'd cut like the player and like the Topps logo and all that stuff, and I would like make a collage on the front of my card binder with all the packs I would open. The Diamond Vision, yeah, those are so cool.
Oh, this was the last year that I collected.
Wow.
0405.
Yeah. They had a Jordan hardcore auto in that. Man, can you imagine pulling that thing?
One with the Kobe, 98, 99.
Yeah.
Series 2.
Yep. Vince Carter rookie year.
I got 2 boxes of the stuff that, I think a collage would be pretty cool, or like a coffee table type thing, maybe.
Yep.
Down the line, I could mess with. So.
I'm gonna do some like redesigning of the background, and I want to do like a wall over here. You probably can't; it's off camera right now, but with some of the boxes that I've opened, and just kind of like have them all stacked up. So man, some of those boxes are so cool. I love it. So one of the things that I've got to ask you about before we jump off is Space Jam movie's coming up. Just a little bit over 2 weeks from now, I think. And I know you're an MJ fan. How do you feel about the new one with LeBron? Are you excited for it, or are you like it's still not going to be the original?
Okay, so when LeBron had kind of first mentioned that he was going to be in this new Space Jam movie, I'm like, man, there's really nobody that's touching the GOAT when it comes to this stuff. And why is he? Don't get me wrong. Like I love LeBron. He won a championship for my Lakers. So like all the hatred or whatever went down the drain after that. Like he ended up proving himself. But I was just like at the beginning, I was like, why is he kind of chasing in the footsteps of the GOAT? You know what I mean? Like, why is he making a movie of Space Jam? But you know what? I will give it a look. My kids are looking forward to watching it, so I'm okay with that. I'm not going to do a comparison, even though I probably will in the back of my mind,
right?
But I mean it's cool. It's for the new age, and I don't know the storyline or whatnot, so I'm going in with a clean slate and just gonna watch the movie, enjoy it, and then I'll have my opinion after that. So we'll see. But I'm a fan. Like I'll watch it. So
yeah, I'm not sure if we're gonna go to the theater and watch it. My daughter's excited to watch it, but I think she's more excited because she knows that I want to see it. So I'm not sure if she's gonna be excited enough to like go in the theater and sit down. Like she she was excited for Frozen 2, and she sat down and watched that whole thing. I don't know if she's going to do that with Space Jam, but we'll see.
Well, I introduced my kids to the first Space Jam, and they knew my love infinity for MJ stuff. So it's like one of those things where like, okay, well, but me being the nerd was like, okay, here's the part where like they get his jersey, or like they get his shoes to kind of bring back to, whatever. But yeah, it's one of those things that like when you share it with your with loved ones around, I think it's going to be a lot more enjoyable than you think. So, yeah, looking forward to it.
We'll see. We'll see how good it is. But I'm excited for sure. All right. So before we sign off, I always ask my guests if you would like to. Do you want to ask the question of the day for the audience?
You know what? I thought about it, but then I forgot.
That happens to me more often than I'd like to admit.
Question of the day. I don't know, unless you have something off the top of your head. I can't really think.
That's right. So here's my question of the day. What is your favorite pair of Jordans? Not only the number, the model, but also the colorway. I want to hear both. Drop that down in the comments. And what's your pick? Favorite Jordan, the number and the colorway.
Okay, so for myself, what started it for me, I shared the story earlier, is the Concord 11s. Back in 95, I saw that shoe and I was just like, yeah, it's one of the shoes that I need to get once it releases. And so it was my first pair that I purchased with my own money. Saved up all my lunch money to like purchase that pair. Called around stores to make sure that they had my size. Got down to like maybe the fifth or sixth store, and my dad took me to this place called what's it called? It's like losing me right now. But it's like one of the, it's not a Foot Locker or like a Finish Line. It's one of those sneaker stores that don't exist anymore. It's like probably like one of the sporting goods stores out there,
like Sports Authority or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. And went in there, got the shoe, actually put it next to my bedside with the pair of clothes that I knew I was going to be wearing the next day, and I slept with the pair. So it was right next to my pillow, looking at it, and yeah, from then on there, I beat it through and through. And yeah, funny story too is like my first reselling experience with that is once I was done with the pair, someone from the basketball team in high school actually purchased it off my feet. So I was like, wow, I'll take it for like $50.
Right.
So $50 was like a lot of money, even though the pair, when I first purchased it, was like 125. But yeah, I guess at the next reunion I should ask him if he still has them. But
yeah, right? That'd be really cool if he did.
I actually kept the original box to that pair. So the box that you saw earlier was the original box from my original purchase.
Oh wow.
And I just ended up buying a pair off eBay, like probably in the mid 2000s, and put that pair into my old box. So I kind of feel like a connection still with it. So that's my story.
Oh, you know what? You mentioned that those were the first pair that you bought with your own money. I actually have right next to me the first pair of shoes I bought with my own money that I really wanted for basketball shoes. These things are beat, but I don't know if you remember these. The N1, the KGs.
Wow, N1s. I remember.
And
that.
Look at how beat the heel is. And actually, the other pair next to me, this little like cross member that's flexible is broken, and you can just destroyed. But yeah, these things, the low top version, they only had 2 pairs left at the Olympia Sports in my town. It was $20, and being a broke high school student, I was like, I need those. I love KG, and they happen to be in the Orlando colorway. Are you kidding me? It's perfect. So
now, have you found the card, if it exists, that has those shoes?
So I've found some where he's wearing like the mid top version, and it's like white and navy. So I've not found anywhere he's wearing like that colorway. And I don't know if he ever actually wore those in game. But now that you mention it, I'm going to be on the hunt and see. But the other KGs that I loved were like the first Nike like KG shoe. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. But I love those because they were the Orlando colorways, and then I found out later those were supposed to be the Penny shoes, but Penny got injured that year, so Nike said, well, we've already made these, we're going to kind of use them, and they ended up being the KG shoes, and every time I see a card with those, I'm like, yep, got to get it. So
see, I'm still like you're head first into cards, but I'm learning something from you in sneakers. See, this thing right here, the synergy right here, like you guys have to understand, like like there's a lot of relatability when it comes to stuff like this. So that's awesome to hear, man.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I mean,
it's a passion.
thank you for having me on. Appreciate what you do as far as like the content as well. So keep grinding, man. Love it. Respect.
Awesome. I appreciate you for making some time, and thank you for opening some packs with us. I mean, like you said, I know those things don't come cheap. I know oh too well. So I'll be looking forward to when you open the rest of them, and when you, I know you got a jersey card in there somewhere. It's just hiding. It's just hiding somewhere.
I mean, we'll see. Like I have actually a hobby box coming too, but I mean,
No
I probably
way.
have like 15 packs left here, and then a hobby box I purchased off eBay recently. So we'll see.
You get something in there. I can't wait to see what it is.